Welcome everyone to episode 26, Dog Hairs, of Inside the Video Store. Sorry, a little bit waylaid or distracted somewhat by a customer complaint. Someone just went into the shop next door. It's Wednesday today, Wednesday the 11th. I'm closed every Wednesday. It's my one day off, so kind of quite an important day. A guy marched into the store next door, the shop next door, and kind of put his films on the counter and said, "Are they not ever open next door? Do they never open?" And I mean, it's one thing that I'm open 6 days a week. It's one thing that every opening time is on Google, that you can search on your phone in a nanosecond. It's one thing that the opening times are on Instagram, they're on Facebook, they're on every social media app possible. But it's another thing when you complain about the shop being shut, and yet you're literally ferrying the opening times around in your hand. People, honestly, people. To quote Randall, this job would be okay if it wasn't for I'm not going to say it because the customers are great. The customers are great. But good grief, never underestimate people's stupidity. Never underestimate people's stupidity. Anyway, I am well. I hope you are well. We're here for episode 26. We're sitting down this week in my far preferred position. I hope last week's show was informative. I hope it wasn't too boring and monotonous, just plucking out DVDs from the shelves and Blu-rays and all that kind of thing. I hope it was all right. But anyway, kind of same show as always this week, same kind of format. We have some new releases, which is exciting because we didn't really have any last week apart from Garfield and Unicorns. And if you've not seen Unicorns yet, I do urge you to see that film. It was quite wonderful. So this week we've got two contemporary releases led by Something in the Water. Kind of open water, the reef thing, the shark exploitation. I don't know about you, but I'm kind of bored of that at the moment. It's been done very, very well in the past. Reef, open water, etc., etc. But I'm kind of bored of the whole sort of teeny, tweeny, 20-year-old kids in peril, stuck in the middle of nowhere, and fighting to stay alive in shark-infested water. This might be great, Something in the Water. So if I'm jumping to conclusions, please let me know. But yeah, it is pretty much the main film of the week. I just got the DVD and it didn't convince me to get a Blu-ray, but that's probably down to my own malaise about the subject matter. So this one looks far more interesting. This is a little indie film from America. It's released by Lightbulb releasing over here, Lightbulb Film Distribution. It's a noir set in the desert, which is my kind of thing. We've just started a project this week on a J.S. Cardone film, and I don't know if you know much about the director J.S. Cardone, but he did 3 great movies. I call them his Arizona Crime trilogy, sort of desert set, semi-neo-noirs in the early 90s, and they were amazing. So I do have a penchant for a desert set noir, and this looks really, really cool. It's called Deadland, and yeah, I'm intrigued to watch that. Funny enough, I was chatting to Brad Sykes last night, the director of Camp Blood, everyone's favourite horror movie. And he reminded me that he's wrote a book about kind of dark desert set films, which I ordered. It's coming today. So looking forward to that. And if it is any good, I'll recommend it to you in future episodes. But yeah, that's cool. So that is this week's 2 contemporary releases, Something in the Water and Deadland. We have one here from Studio Canal. And again, not wanting to sound like a repetitious bunny, but I really don't like the cult classics label at the top. I don't know, it feels like it's telling you what it is. It's telling you, oh, this is a cult classic, you must buy it because it's a cult classic. And we should be able to determine ourselves whether a film is a cult classic without a banding at the top of the cover. But never mind. Yeah, this is the Terence Young film, starring, of course, Toshiro Mifune, Ursula Andress, Charles Bronson, Alain Delon, who, of course, just died in the past few weeks. And a fusion of East meets West, which I must admit I've never seen this film. It looks fantastic, and it's great to have it here on a really cool edition, aside from the cult classic logo, which, yeah, I'm funny like that. 88 had a mega week. I congratulated them this week on somehow hitting most of their deadlines, and they have a trilogy of Shaw Brothers films. The Shaw Brothers thing is crazy, really. I remember, obviously, when about the time Kill Bill came out, when was that? You know better than me. Say 2009, probably wasn't. First introduction to Shaw Brothers, obviously heavily influenced by them. And I read up a bit about Shaw Brothers and what they were and what it was and the whole thing, and I was just completely besotted with these films. And I thought at the time, I'm going to have to get some of these films into work. And I think there was literally 2 decent Shaw Brothers releases in the UK. One was 36 Boxer, is it? Possibly. And there was one more. And that was it. Literally two films from the Shaw Brothers vault were represented on physical media in the UK, past VHS. Couldn't believe it. And yeah, just shocking. And now here we are in 2024. We're soon to have the 3rd Arrow box set of Shaw Brothers films. 88 have released loads. I must have probably close to 100 in the shop now. It's nutty, it's great to see. And I must admit, I am way behind with watching a lot of these Shaw Brothers films. So I must get back into it. But yeah, this week we have, from 88 films, To Kill a Mastermind. Great addition there. The Chung-Sun film. Looks very cool indeed. We have the Shadow Boxing with a very casual, very stylish cover there. They say on the back it pretty much invented the kung fu horror comedy. So yeah, that looks great. And also we have the Golden Lotus, which has the rare thing of having an 18 certificate, which is one of those things you don't see very often. This had one of the earliest roles for Jackie Chan. But yeah, 3 films from 88 there, Shaw Brothers, which is just great. They're just relentless. They just keep on coming out. Like I said to you last week when I was showing you the martial arts section, that section is becoming a problem because it is relentless. There are probably adding about 50 films a year to it, maybe more, and it's struggling to hold what it's got now and what will come in the future. So it'll be interesting to see what I can do with that. Also out from 88 this week is another one of their Tygon releases, and these are great, aren't they? Such a classy little slipcover and spines, all the yellow spines lined up together on the shelf there. And yeah, I've had this on DVD for a number of years, but it's cool to have a nice release on Blu-ray. So that's pretty cool. Christopher Lee and Boris Karloff in Curse of the Crimson Altar. Finally, with the newbies, these 2 were both out last week. Like I said, I don't know what's going on with Warner Archive in the UK, but nevertheless, here they are. I had to order them from HMV because for some reason Warner are having trouble getting the Warner Archive films into Amazon on time. But yeah, we have 2 musicals. We have MGM's Gay Technicolor Musical, ahead of its time. Take Me Out to the Ball Game with Frank Sinatra, Esther Williams and Gene Kelly. And we also have Damn Yankees. Stanley Donen film, is it? It is. Starring, of course, Tab Hunter. So yeah, pretty cool, not bad. Stash of new releases, as always. It tends to get heavier as the month goes on. I think next week is fairly light. And then goes to the 23rd. It is pretty much bonkers territory, with a number of things out, which is absolutely terrifying. But we shall see. We shall see. Let's do some on loans. And I must begin with this one, because I mentioned it last week. I had a look at the John Sayles section in my director's collection, and I bemoaned the fact that so few John Sayles films are rent out. And I think I even picked up this film, and lo and behold, Mark, who hasn't even seen that video, came in yesterday and rented City of Hope, the John Sayles film, which is just absolutely amazing. So that's great news. We need more people watching John Sayles films, because it's a severely underrated director. This film itself has got a brilliant cast like Vincent Spano, Tony Lobianco, Joe Morton, Angela Bassett, Lawrence Tierney, David Strathairn. I mean, it's just a remarkable cast of characters. DP is Robert Richardson as well. So it's very cool to see that going out. Very cool indeed. One of my customers asked me about road movies. And normally, what comes to mind is the standard stuff like Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry, Two Lane Blacktop, Vanishing Point. But we kind of went for a comedy spin, and I recommended Tommy Boy to him. I said in the past, I have a real soft spot for any Saturday Night Live spin-off movie. Just that's the way it is. And Tommy Boy is one of those, starring, of course, two SNL veterans in Chris Farley and David Spade, and also guest starring Dan Aykroyd. And it's great. I really love Tommy Boy. I remember when it came out, I was 18, and it was just the greatest film I had ever seen in my life. I may have softened on that approach, or not on that opinion, but yeah, it's cool. I even I rented Black Sheep to this guy as well, the kind of semi-sequel to Tommy Boy, which isn't as good, but I guess if you're a completist, if you're a Chris Farley completist, then it's worth a look. I had a journalist phone me yesterday from a national newspaper for an interview, and she said, "What's the film that rents out the most?" And I said, I don't have a film that rents out the most, really. There are perennial renters, maybe David Lynch films, Martin Scorsese films, things like that. But I wouldn't say there's an overwhelming thing. I said things normally go in cycles. So people will hear a podcast, or they'll see a recommendation, and a few people of the same persuasion will come in and rent a film in successive weeks. And that's certainly the case with this Report to the Commissioner, which I've spoken about in the past. It's an amazing film set in New York City with Michael Moriarty, one of the most underrated character actors who ever lived. And it's a great film, directed by Milton Katselas. It's good. This is part of the MGM limited edition collection, MGM OD on demand, and it's excellent. I've had a few customers rent this in the last few weeks. I think Lee has taken it this time because he's having a bit of a film orgy this week. I'll be really excited to know what he thinks of it, because it is a stunning film, one of those great, gritty crime films from the 70s. My favourite documentary this year could well possibly be Vinyl Nation. So I was really thrilled to see this rent out. Obviously there's a big resurgence at the moment in the vinyl business. I have my vinyl that I've just been to pick up today. Do you want to see my vinyl I picked today? I was thinking about having a spin-off show, like a music, Snips Movies, Snips Movies music, Snips Movies music. No. So yeah, I was thinking of doing that, because I thought, or the sounds of Snips. Oh, that's quite nice, isn't it? The sounds of Snips. We could do that. But yeah, Uncle Rob, who of course is a great customer, has been recommending me some jazz. So I picked up a Herbie Hancock album. Can't say no to that. What else we got? Oh, sticking with the same recommendation, we have the Horace Silver Quartet. I mean, this is the quintet, rather. One died. This is one of the perks of the job, and that, it is a wall-to-wall music from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Obviously, I'm closed every day, and I love it, and it's great to get the recommendations from people. And I have a pretty wide taste, so yeah, really excited to listen to those two jazz albums that Rob recommended, because I've been pestering him endlessly for recommendations, because he is a jazz pianist of note, shall we say. And yeah, I got the recent Craig Finn album, Love Craig Finn and the Hold Steady, and that was a great sale price, $12.99, which I couldn't resist that. You're probably hating this, aren't you? Sorry, I'll get back to the films. One of my favourite albums of the last 2 years is the new Superchunk album, Wild Loneliness. I have it on CD, but I couldn't resist getting it on vinyl. It's a limited edition green and yellow vinyl, so coloured vinyl, honestly, it's catnip. And it was down to $11.99, half price. It's an amazing album. I've never really been a hardcore Superchunk fan, but when you look at the guests on the album, like Teenage Fanclub and Sharon Van Etten, Mike Mills, and it's just an album that's pretty much perfect, to be honest. And one of my favourite musicians of all time is Sufjan Stevens, and I've got pretty much every album of his, but I haven't got this, which he's done with Lowell Brahms, and looks really, really interesting, to be honest. I don't know a great deal about it, but I will soon. And also I had one blind buy, because we do like a blind buy, and that was a band called Barnyard and their album Good Morning, because the lovely people at Beyond Vinyl over in Sefton kind of called it lo-fi pop. I do like a bit of lo-fi pop. They name-checked the Shins on the album cover there. So yeah, so that is this week's episode of Sounds at Snips, and we'll see you next week with some other choice music picks. Yeah, that might not work, but we'll see. Can't wait to listen to those tomorrow. So yeah, Vinyl Nation, brilliant documentary, just perfect, just absolutely perfect. I had a kid in, I shouldn't call people kids, I had a guy in this week, young guy, I'm obviously more than half my age, and the films he asked for were just crazy when you think of someone that young being into films that specific and that kind of niche. He asked for a Fellini film, Roma. He asked for a Godard film, Weekend, and he asked for an Ozu film, An Autumn Afternoon. So what a threesome. I mean, that's, that is the kind of thing that makes my day when young people come in and ask for really, really, well, I guess you call them art house films, world cinema, classic films from yesteryear. So that really did make my day. I was thrilled. So hopefully he'll like those. And as always, I'll be interested to know what he thinks. Great picks. Can't beat a bit of Ken Loach, can we? Can't beat a bit of Ken Loach. Sorry We Missed You, Rented Out. Devastating film. And kind of is a damning indictment of the gig economy. This guy plays an Amazon, well, not an Amazon driver by name, but along those lines. And it is a pretty perilous existence, really. But yeah, just the way it is. Funnily enough, I've got the comments coming up later, and I won't go back on last week's comments just to save time. But one person, I think it was Terry, did ask me. He said, obviously, you've been working here since 1995. How do you take a day off? What happens if you're sick? Or what happens if you don't want to come into work? And it's one of those things. It's almost like it's like being an Amazon driver, but in a job that's really, really cool. A job that doesn't require any work or effort or labour at all. But no, it's one of those things where, touch wood, you just hope you don't get sick. Because if we get sick, shop don't open. And so far, very, very, very fortunate. But things can change quickly. But we will see. But yeah, that's one of the things for self-employed. You don't go on holiday. You don't have time off. And you don't have a life. But then again, how many people get up in the morning and race into work with rabid enthusiasm and literally look forward to every day going to work. Not many people are afforded that luxury. Very, very privileged position to be in. Sorority Babes and the Slime Ball Bowl-O-Rama is rented out for the second consecutive week, which is very cool indeed. Whenever someone comes in and says, I think this guy, I think it was James, wasn't it, that brought back Curse of the Puppet Master. He said, I'm after another David DeCoteau film. You know, there's not many people who come in and say, I'm after another David DeCoteau film. So, instant Snips Hall of Famer. But yeah, Sorority Babes is great fun. And another director doing really well at the moment, who I've had issues with, not the director, I've had issues with their section not really shifting. That's Ken Russell. I think Ken Russell is one of the great underrated directors. I said to a customer, I think it was Nathan, I said you should start watching some Ken Russell films. And he wasn't that au fait with Ken Russell, as many people aren't, but you know, what a filmmaker, and we really need to spend some time delving into his unreal catalogue. He rented The Music Lovers, and I'll be really interested to see what he thinks of that. So yeah, that is this week's On Loan. Interesting, as always. I've got a few parcels to open. Then, while I'm opening them, I'm going to have another rant. I guess that customer before dropping those films, I think, just set me off into a narky mood. But yeah, it is. Today is Wednesday, the 11th of September. It's an important day. I don't know if you know what day that is, but it is Severin Shipping Day. Well, it is a day that Severin promised to have every sale order shipped. Now, I'm not a mono. I mean, you know, I'm not gonna be short of films to watch, am I? But still, I happen to think, and it's a controversial thing, I happen to think that if I place an order 8 weeks ago, 9 weeks ago, it should have shipped by now. Vinegar Syndrome and other companies are making big decisions to condense warehouses. I think Vinegar Syndrome has 2 warehouses in there, and they've got a supersized one where they're going to combine both warehouses in it to make their shipping more concise and more efficient. But, you know, 9 weeks for Severin, I don't think that's a very good performance. I mean, you know, you can't knock the company as a whole. They release some amazing films, some amazing box sets. They really do pour every ounce of effort into every release. A remarkable slate of releases over the last few years. But this shipping thing is a real issue. You know, I think I ordered 20 Blu-rays. I'm not saying that, you know, the volume of what you order should put you at the front of the queue. I think I should be equal to someone placing an order for 1 Blu-ray. But still, 9 weeks. 9 weeks is a long time to wait, and still no sign of it shipping. So I hope they think about this, and I hope they kind of maybe look at things for future sales, because this isn't working really, and it's a shame. Because, like I say, I don't like to moan. I know, being an independent company, that things aren't always easy, and time is forever drifting away. But it's a shame that that hasn't been shipped more quickly. It really is. Anyway, what have we got this week? We have a lot of dust. Jeez. We have The Dark Side of Desire. And by that I mean Gregory Dark. We have Secret Games on VHS. Oh, look at that cover. I mean, seriously, look at that cover. Imagine walking into a video store in 1992 and seeing the cover for Secret Games. I mean, it would just take you into another world. Brilliant, brilliant, iconic box art. One of the best films from Gregory Dark, credited here, of course, as Alexander Gregory Hippolyte, his pseudonym. But yeah, just one of the many brilliant erotic films. I think they released 14 via Axis, both Dark and Andrew Garoni in partnership. And DP, of course, is Wally Pfister. famed DP now. Starring in this, of course, is Delia Shepherd, Catcher Sassoon, the tragic Catcher Sassoon, Martin Hewitt and Billy Drago. Now the eBay seller didn't post a picture of the tape on the auction, so I'm going to cross my fingers that it's all in good condition, and it is indeed. It is indeed. But yeah, thrilled to get that. I'm kind of trying to pick up all the erotic thrillers that got released in the UK during the 90s, and it's a bit of a hard slog, as you can imagine. But gradually, I'm getting through them. Oh, now this is exciting. This is exciting. This, my friends, is issue 12 of Stat magazine. Stat magazine is an anti-profit arts and culture magazine made for the northwest of England. Stat aims to redistribute cultural focus to smaller towns in the northwest, showcasing left-field radical arts outside of Manchester, be they visual, written, fictional, or journalistics. Journalistic. Now here I had a wonderful journalist called Tilly come around to the store a couple of months ago, and we had a good chat for a couple of hours. And here, somewhere, there should be a great little article about this store. Somewhere, hopefully. Pregnant pause. Hey, there we go. The North's last video rental. Amazing. Isn't that cool? So yeah, really thrilled to get this in here. I chat with a man who runs the North's last rental shop. Ah, and there is me. So yeah, cool. I shall have a read of that later. The only problem with this is they only do 100 issues. So I will scan this into my phone, and I will either post it on Twitter or post it on Facebook, Instagram, wherever. So you will see this up on our socials in the next few days. Depending on what I said, actually, I don't remember what I said. So as long as I said something half intelligent, then I will post it on social media. Right, what else have we got? Oh, I've got more music. Honestly, this is becoming a music show. Jeez. Yeah, we have a bit of cheese. Well, it's not cheese. It's Fleetwood Mac. It's the Tusk album, but it's the expanded edition because I was after one track. I don't have Tusk actually, but after one track called Farmer's Daughter, which I think is the greatest Fleetwood Mac track they've ever recorded. But it's not their track. It's Brian Wilson wrote it. And speaking of Brian Wilson, Surfing Safari by the Beach Boys. There we go. So anyway, that was a completely non-film orientated What's in the Box, except we have What's in the Big Box. Finally I had to pay customs on this, which just destroyed me, but never mind. I had to pay customs and wait for this forever, but I have my latest shipment from my American P.O. box, which is really exciting because it contains some really cool stuff. The first of which is, just one of the most exciting films we've had in this month. It is the new film by J.R. Bookwalter. J.R. Bookwalter, as you may know, is the CEO of Tempe Video. Tempe have been going for a long time. JR's first real film was The Dead Next Door, the kind of breakout film. Since then, he's gone on to create such masterpieces as Robot Ninja, Ozone, and stuff like. Did he do Sandman? I think he did. But yeah, worked with Charlie Band for a couple of years in the early noughties. And just an absolute hero of mine. When I first got my first multi-regional DVD player, and the internet first took off in around about 1999, 2000, he was one of the first indie companies I ordered discs from because he was releasing some. See, Charlie hates these films, and he wishes they never existed. But at the time, Full Moon were releasing fairly cool stuff that I really liked, like Hell Asylum, and also Dead and Rotting. I love these films. And he really had a new way of doing DVDs, whereby he stacked, J.R. Bookwalter would stack every DVD with special features, which was really, really cool and really, really groundbreaking at the time. So, I was like a moth to a light with his movies. And I've just kind of followed his career ever since. And now he's made a brand new film written by James L. Edwards, signed on the back as well. And it's called Side Effects May Vary. It's a very, very cool film. It looks amazing. It looks absolutely amazing. It's got some great practical effects. It's a very, very simple story. It's kind of harks back to the 50s, Incredible Melting Man kind of thing going on as well. But it's a great little monster movie, person rotting flesh movie. And it's cool. I really, really did like it. So yeah, absolutely bowled over to have that in store. It's already rented out to good old Jake. And he thought it was amazing. And I know he congratulated Bookwalter online. And so he should, because it's a tremendous film. Great little indie horror film that deserves to be seen by more people. Grave Desires came out, as I may have mentioned in the past. Fred Olen Ray, happy birthday Fred, just turned 70. Fred Olen Ray is releasing a number of his films that he owns the rights to on MOD Blu-ray. I know a lot of you aren't too keen on MOD Blu-ray, which is fair enough. But to me, if it's an MOD Blu-ray or it's no film at all, I go for the MOD Blu-ray. Grave Desires was a staple of Skinemax in the early noughties. I think it was 2004. And of course you have in this film Beverly Lynn and the brilliant Jay Richardson. So yeah, that's very cool indeed. We have some new Warner Archives in stock, which is always cause for celebration. I've really been getting into Blake Edwards recently. Genius. And one of them I didn't have that I'm kind of quite keen to get. I'm sure someone mentioned it. Maybe Pure Cinema Podcast, I don't know. Skin Deep with John Ritter. Looks absolutely hilarious. Vincent Gardenia is in it as well. Can't wait to see this. Because John Ritter was just a genius, wasn't he? He was brilliant, great actor. And again, one of those people that just vanished off the face of the earth far too soon. This, I think, was going out of print, so I was keen to pick this up. I love these 9-movie box sets. Like I said in the past, the only cause for concern I have about these is if the discs ever fell out, because DVDs are so scratchable. It does kind of present a problem. But this is the Monogram Cowboy Collection, Volume 1. We get 9 movies in this, all around 49 to 55 minutes in duration. Perfect matinee, perfect when you just get up in the morning and you've got an hour to kill before work. Grab a coffee and watch one of these. They're great fun. They're light, they're easy. They date from around, when was it? About late 40s, early 50s. But they're good fun. They're really good fun. And like I say, there's a few volumes of these. And I just had a suspicion that the price was going up on that. And it was becoming harder and harder to find. So I picked up a second-hand copy while I could. This was interesting. I saw this at the weekend. This was a William Friedkin film that I've never seen before. Written by Paul Brickman, who, of course, the very same year hit pay dirt with Risky Business with Tom Cruise, which has just come out on UHD. Unfortunately, Paul Brickman was meant to direct this film, but he got caught up on reshoots for Risky Business. So William Friedkin directed it himself. It doesn't feel like a William Friedkin film. It's not perfect. It's got some really funny bits in it. It's a satire about the arms industry, which probably feels a little bit dated today, but still, it's not a bad film. I enjoyed watching it, but it's patchy. It's not Friedkin's best. I know Friedkin very rarely commented about it in the many talks and lectures that he gave, which is fair enough. I have this already, Mean Guns, the Albert Pune film. I have this already from 101, but it's in the wrong aspect ratio. So how do we get it in the right aspect ratio? Well, we order it from MVD, which is our multi-regional Blu-ray, one of Albert Pune's best films, produced by Gary Schmoller. And yeah, correct aspect ratio, always a handy thing to have. And I think this dropped to $9.99 one day on Amazon, so I just thought, well, I can't leave that. I can't leave that. I have 0 Kino Lorber films in store because, of course, they're all locked. But hopefully this UHD is region free. I know there are a few examples of a couple of them being locked, but hopefully this is region free. This was a kind of Charlie Band movie that wasn't really. I think he just distributed it in America, didn't he? Under this title, Transmutations. Judge Pavlou directed it, who I was lucky enough to interview last year. And yeah, of course, it's based on a Clive Barker screenplay and story. I haven't seen this in a long time. I don't know how it holds up. Probably not very well. But still glad to have it in. So hopefully I must take that home tonight and check its region free, because I know a number of people are looking to watch that. So I will put that in my bag. I was laughing when these two came in. Sorry, one missing. I had this at home. Start again. I was laughing when these two came in from Film Masters, because it just highlights the sheer insanity of that label. It's a brilliant label. It's one of my favourite labels at the moment. Top 3 for sure. Film Masters. The way they restore films, the way they pack them with special features, and just the weirdness and the oddities that they pluck out and put on Blu-ray is quite fabulous, to be honest. The Crippled Masters is bonkers. Brilliantly bonkers. It's two brothers, both cripples. One has no arms, one has no legs, and they become, a force for justice. It's great. I think it's from Taiwan or Thailand, maybe. But it's brilliant fun. Just a great martial arts film, which takes very little concentration or thinking power, and it's a great Friday night film with a drink or two. And yeah, just to highlight the complete wildness of the acquisitions, they released The Scarlet Letter, which is the one Film Masters film that I was a little bit late on picking up, but of course this is the 1934 version of Nathaniel Hawthorne's classic tale. A couple from Synapse. I got Death Squad in, but I didn't look. It's a region A, which is fine. I can watch it at home, but I did hope that a few of my customers might be able to watch it, because this looks like a completely wild film from France, classified as X by the French censor, which I think was a bit of a rarity back then. But one film that is region free from Synapse is Crocodile, which looks absolutely bananas. Where's it from? Is it Indonesia or is it Thailand? I forget where it's from, but it just looks a very cool nature run amok style movie that I'm very excited to watch. So yeah, there's some good ones. I got a couple from, was it just one? Or just one from Mondo Macabre. And there's Dr. Jekyll and the Werewolf. I know this came out in UHD as well, I think. But I do enjoy a Paul Naschy werewolf film. Who wouldn't? And so, directed by Leon Klimovsky as well, which is all the more reason to watch it. So that's very cool, and I can't wait to have a look at that. And then finally, we have two from Full Moon. We have, at long last, I know a lot of you have been waiting for this, we have a Blu-ray of The Ginger Dead Man. As you know, I'm the leading authority on the Ginger Dead Man, having co-written the definitive authorized history of the franchise, which you can buy at all good bookstores. But yeah, the Ginger Dead Man is great fun. I do prefer the Ginger Dead Man 2. Was it Passion of the Crust? No, it was number 3. No, 3 was Saturday Night Cleaver, wasn't it? 2 was Passion of the Crust. So yeah, if you're going to see a Ginger Dead Man film, watch Ginger Dead Man 2, Passion of the Crust. It's fantastic. But Gingerbread Man 1 is alright simply because it stars Gary Busey in a slightly confused state. But yeah, cool. And then finally, from Full Moon, we have one of their new films, which is quite a decent one, to be honest. It's directed by Brooks Davis, and it's written by our old friend Kent Roudbush, and it's really good fun. It's good fun, to be honest. Short, as always. I think it's about 55 minutes. But it's a good little erotic horror movie that is well made, and I think it's got a good story behind it. So yeah, decent. So that is. Oh no, we've got more. Oh jeez, God, you're never going to get out of here. And there's more. Oh, these are all. These are all customer requests, funnily enough, that have come in this week. I did a post on social media yesterday to say that, this is a collaboration between me and the customers that come in here, and we work together, to create a pretty good library, to be honest, but it's never 100%, and we always need suggestions and people spotting gaps and little things that I haven't got and might need to get, and things like that. And I had a young guy in over the weekend, or just before the weekend, and quite rightly, he said, you do looking at your Japanese splatter gore, to be honest. And he's right. It's one weak area of the store. Good stuff like Dead Bull, which is pretty cool, and Dead Sushi, again, pretty cool, and also obviously The Machine Girl, which is one of the best. But he said, how about a couple more, like Meatball Machine, for example. Well, he's right, and there it is, came in yesterday. Or how about Tokyo Gore Police? Yes, you're right, there it is, came in yesterday. Good picks, and it's great that customers have the ability to come and suggest things like that, because it's really important, and it kind of beefs up the library with stuff that otherwise I wouldn't think of. I know a bit about films, but I'm not some kind of a genius that has an encyclopedic brain for every film ever made. And, I have weak spots, so it's great for customers to come in and suggest things that we could do with getting in. This is another one. I remember this film coming out the week we opened back in 1995, or just slightly before then. The Cowboy Way. Never been out in this country beyond VHS. But I picked up this Blu-ray from over in Denmark, I think, which was pretty cheap. And good old Jay has asked for this, and it looks good fun. Well, with Woody Harrelson and Kiefer Sutherland, you can't really go wrong. This was a request from Lee, because, like I said, with it was Black Moon Rising from the other week, wasn't it? You just presume you have every major Arrow release, but sometimes you're blinkered to some things and you miss some things. So The Last Starfighter is one of those, and it was kind of on the verge of going out of print as well, directed by Nick Castle, no less, as well, Mr. Michael Myers himself. So yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that myself. Now these two are recommendations from you lot, from the comment section. I forget who it was, but someone recommended last week Rated X, which I haven't seen in a long time. As you know, I'm a big porn aficionado for literary reasons. And one of my viewers, I forget who it was, recommended Rated X, about the Mitchell brothers. And the Mitchell brothers are two very wild brothers from the 70s who took the porn industry by storm, but they had a really odd relationship and just completely fell apart in a quite spectacular downfall. So yeah, Rated X, really quite cool to get that in, because it was a Showtime film, I think, made for cable TV in America, which you don't get many of those over here on DVD. And from my TV plea from about 3 weeks ago. I got in series 1 and 2 of Urban Gothic. I've got series 1 at home, but I'm enjoying it so far. I think it's pretty effective. It's really cool. So thank you for those people who recommended Urban Gothic. I'm enjoying it, and I think a few of my customers will enjoy it as well. So yeah, sorry for that lasting far longer than I intended, but that is this week's What's in the Box. Hopefully next week we may have a box from Severin, but I very much doubt it. I very much doubt it. Quick look at the comments, because we have to choose a winner for the Crawl Space Blu-ray, which I'm giving away thanks to 88 Films. We've got lots of great answers. Joel said Aguirre, Wrath of God. He said keep up the great content, best show on Friday. Don't Tell Show said these videos have become my Friday night ritual. I don't know what you'd do. I don't know what I'd do if you missed a week. You'd be fine. You'd be fine. The best Saws, my favourite Klaus Kinski film is The Great Silence. Paul Berryman says the new rental cover looks very prestigious. Thank you, Paul. I think it looks amazing. I know the customers really love it. Lee Mann said I loved how Snips is my local rental place. The only problem I have is a severe choice paralysis. It is, yeah, it is difficult. Some people really do struggle with kind of settling on which 3 films to take home. As for Kinski, my favourite movie has to be The Great Silence. Another Great Silence. Ancient Slumber says my favourite Klaus Kinski film is Nosferatu the Vampire. Good choice, good choice. Thank you, Chris. Film Wars says my favourite Kinski film is My Best Fiend. This is very good. I watched this recently because we did, in prep for the commentary, I thought it was important. I watched My Best Fiend, and it was quite a stunning documentary. Vest28 says my favourite Kinski film is The Great Silence. I have the poster in my office. Impressive. That's cool. Indie Phantom Sofa Cinema says amazing news on Severin's Russ Meyer set, which looks to be forthcoming. That does sound exciting. Mitch Mars says my favourite Kinski film is And God Said to Cain. That's a really interesting choice. Daniel Turner says City of Hope on Blu-ray. I'd rent that. Well, you can't, Daniel, because someone's rented it at last. We have a John Sayles film, John Sayles section in action. Skulder22 says my favourite film that has Klaus Kinski in it is for a few dollars more. Okay, that's good. Goodman Distillison says Shotgun Stories is a masterpiece. I highlighted Shotgun Stories in my indie section last week during the tour. Yeah, it is a masterpiece, and as you say, nobody has seen it, or very few people have seen it. And it has just come out on Blu-ray, which is interesting. I'd be interested to know if anyone gets the Blu-ray of Shotgun Stories, if they could let me know if it's a region free, then I'd like to import that. That would be pretty cool. Terry Uller says, hi Dave, where do you get the film on loan tags? I'm guessing you have them made. No, I don't. Yeah, believe it or not, these are all I've got left. I mean, obviously there's a couple of hundred on the boxes out there, so I've got about 150 spare. So I can't get too busy, otherwise you have a problem. But no, these were I got these in. These are 30 years old. You got to remember, back in the day, back 30 years ago, there were places around the country making stuff for video stores. There were 4 video stores in this village, tiny village. So, it was a lucrative business for places around the country to sell film on loan tags and membership forms and certification stickers and all different kind of video store paraphernalia, DVD cases, things like that. But now, of course, I'm just hanging on to my last few film on loan tags that I have, because the people are selling them on eBay for 20 quid a pop, which is just nuts. I could probably fund my retirement if I sold my film on loan ticket collection. So yeah, no, I don't have them made, and they're the last ones that I've got. So hopefully they will last me till the bitter end, be that 2 years or 20 years. Who knows? Who knows? And finally, and the winner of Crawl Space is Dr. Impossible of Counterpunk, who says, Kinski, one word. Android. Yeah. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Nicely done. And Android, I've just seen it because I needed to watch Android for an unannounced project that's coming out in December. So yeah, I kind of found that very relatable. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So well done, Dr. Impossible. Please send me your address and details, and I will get that Blu-ray in the post to you ASAP, hopefully before the week is out. Yeah, so that is that. That was the comments. And I think we're pretty much done. We have just a few Sleeping Giants to do. I've got another Mamet film for you. These three films, I don't know if you've not seen Sleeping Giants before, these are three films that are not streaming in the UK. And it's a sacrilege, quite frankly. First one is another Mamet film. As you know, a big David Mamet fan. A lot of his films just drift under the radar. Red Belt, of course, rented out the other week. It was Sam rented it and he loved it, which is great. But David Mamet films really need to get more exposure, especially this one. This is The Spanish Prisoner with Steve Martin and Campbell Scott. Brilliant film. And yeah, it's not streaming in the UK, and it's an amazing film. You should really seek that out if you've not seen it. What else we got? We have now this probably isn't streaming for a reason. I guess you could call it problematic these days. But that's one of those things, you know. That's one of the things about hard copies, in that you can't erase this because it will exist forever, or well, almost. And there's C. Thomas Howell in Soul Man. So yeah, the nature of the film probably is slightly problematic, but still, we're not stupid. We know what causes offence these days, and we know the right thing to do and the wrong thing to do. But having a laugh at a comedy that's, you know, obviously dated, should be something that we should be able to make our own decision about, rather than a multinational corporation make it for us. So yeah, Soul Man not streaming in the UK. And finally, this is a funny one. This was written by James Gunn. It's The Specials. An amazing cast: Rob Lowe, Thomas Hayden Church, Paget Brewster, Jamie Kennedy. And yeah, written by James Gunn. It kind of arrived hot on the heels of Mystery Men, and probably, well, it didn't do as well as Mystery Men. Not that Mystery Men exactly lit up the box office. But yeah, a bit of a shame, because it is very funny. It is very funny if you have a certain sense of humor. I know I'm reluctant to always recommend comedies because everyone has a very peculiar sense of humor that pertains to themselves. And but I did find this very funny, and it's just surprising that it's not streaming over here. But there we go. So yeah, they are three films that I do recommend, all of them, and they are not streaming in the UK, which is crazy. But there we go. Right, that is just about it. I hope that wasn't too disjointed for you. But yeah, that's about it. What else we got? Nothing, is there? No. All good. Any questions, any queries, please do comment as normal. Again, thank you for watching. For some reason, even though we're 26 episodes in, have I called this episode 26? I think I have. I think it should be 27, shouldn't it? Doesn't matter. Yeah, people are still watching this, and it's the same volume of people that seem to watch it week in, week out, which is quite remarkable. Really, it was something I thought people would get bored of very, very quickly. And then you would all let me off the hook, and I could have my Wednesday day off to myself. But no, you sit there and demand that I come here and perform for you every Wednesday afternoon. But thank you very much for watching. It's a great privilege. And thank you all again for your comments and suggestions and thoughts and analysis and just general just general stuff. It's greatly appreciated. But yeah, that is about it. Hopefully next week we'll bring some more exciting stuff. And yeah, if you want the sounds of Snips as a separate thing, it could just be me sat next to a turntable, just kind of here's some Miles Davis, and that could be it. Wouldn't that be great? Might infringe copyright. Maybe not. But yeah, there's definitely legs in that, isn't there? No, there's not. Anyway, stick to films. Stick to what you know, David. Stick to what you know, and that is films, mostly. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you in 7 days' time.